You know what would be a real treat for all of our watchers and listeners of Lancaster Connects would be to catch the 1 minute or so when our mic is muted.
During the
intro.
Song?
We have some pretty good banter back and forth.
Well, mostly it's commenting on the poor haircut.
Yeah, like
Ben's poor haircut.
Ben's like makes a note on his notes. Need to get a new picture.
It's right there.
Because he's not impressed with his headshot and his coiffed hair.
Yeah, even this. What is going on?
Bedhead
right now. Yeah, bedhead. I was taking a nap.
He was napping in the samples before. That's just all we do here. Nap. No, we don't. See, I don't know what you think that does.
All right. It's at least more even.
Is that better?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we have to put it to a vote. If you're watching, if that was better than before, let us know.
Commenting is a good way to get entered into a prize. So if you make fun of my hair, you might win some prizes. On the go bundle, pillow and blanket. Yeah. Pillow and blanket. I've had that minute. Yeah. Yes.
There we go.
Or your less, no more cuddle drinkware. Yeah.
Yep. And here's the on the go bundle. Bring that into frame. So great prizes to win on the show.
You can also ask questions for our guest.
It's a good way to enter. Yep. And then at the end of the show, we spin the prize later. And so that's how we do it around here. This is episode 99, which means...
The next one? You're talking about the next one?
Holy crap, man. That was about as big a softball across home plate as I could lob.
I was trying to do math. Or add. Or count. Mm-hmm. Count. That's the one.
You were rounding up to the 10s.
That's right.
That's what you were doing. Show 100. 100 is next week. Yep. So we got some plans for that. And we were commenting in the intro. We have to update our intro slide for more than just Ben's haircut.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're in the midst of our remodeling project. Our outdoor awning is being replaced. The old one is down. Our building feels naked.
Yeah, that's exactly. It forgot the dress this morning.
John Hockley from Weaver Associates checking in. If you need any kind of printing stuff, John's a good contact there at Weaver, and so much more. They do clothing.
Yeah, these shirts.
Business cards, printing.
Just in the last week,
signs,
flyers, road signs,
all kinds of things. You can print on it. John can do it.
And he also has the toner and the printers and the office supplies. Just about like everything.
Do we want to just start something right now?
Go ahead.
Lancaster Community and Region. How do you feel about toner? Some people have real opinions about toner. I'm one of them.
What is that feeling?
Well, HP shut my printer down because I didn't use regular HP toner.
Oh, it recognized the device recognized that you put a fake in.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate that.
You know, that's kind of funny. It's like, you know, you've got like prescription drugs and non-prescription drugs. They do the same thing. You've got brand toner and non-brand toner, but like. They do the same thing.
I've never seen a difference. I've never seen a difference, but it says beep beep. This is not official HP toner.
So then what? What do you do with that?
Printer landed on the front yard.
Did you do the office space?
No, not quite. But it wasn't. I just needed to print something.
Yeah,
anyway.
Right. Oh, that's funny.
Mike agrees. Appreciate you, Mike. Stand in solidarity over the printer toner camps. All right, show's getting off the rail. Our guests are like, what the heck did I sign up for?
That would be a funny show, Toner Wars.
Yeah. So anyway, Toner Wars. Yeah. Anyway, in case you were wondering and holding your breath from last week to this week, Liz Ackerman with Northern Lancaster County Chamber of Commerce is okay. She was okay. It was a false alarm with the fire alarm. If you missed last week's show, yes, there is the incredible office space
Such a great
scene.
Movie.
It is a great movie. You know what I'd do if I was rich? No, we won't go down that road. Family-friendly show here. Anyway.
No salt.
Anyway, stapler. Anyway, Liz is fine from Northern Lancaster County Chamber of Commerce. It was, when you live stream, you get certain surprises, and our guest had to duck out because there was a fire alarm. And we come back, and it's just a photo of an empty chair. We're like, where's Liz?
She's gone.
You should went and played Carmen Sandiego for a minute.
It's like standing outside like elementary school fire drill.
Yeah, yeah. But everybody's okay, and we're going to get Liz back on, maybe with one of our really great fans, Jonna Hoover Green, and because she's a big supporter of the Southern Lancaster County
That's correct.
Chamber of Commerce, and maybe we'll. No, John, we've not seen your stapler. See, this is why if you're listening to the show, you got to watch it because there's a whole dose of visual support going on. But yeah, we'll have the whole northern and southern chambers on, and maybe we'll have some battle. I don't know.
John
Maybe
told me
there's
they
beef.
play well together.
Okay,
So
beef, no beef, we'll figure it out. But yeah, so Liz is okay. A couple things I wanted to highlight. Echoes. We've had Echoes on from Elizabethtown. You could scroll past episodes. You could just Google it, Echoes Elizabethtown. They have a capital need, some financing need. They had to remodel a few of the apartments that they help homeless people spend transitionary time in. So they need to raise about $8,000. So Echoes in Elizabethtown would be great. That's ECHOS.
see.
ECHOS, yes. And Aaron's Acres has a busy summer. As always, we love supporting them. They help out children with disabilities, namely autism, as one of them, and they do a great job. And Clare House has a lot of things going on this summer, too. So hit up those websites, check them out, and give support when and where you can to them.
I can't believe it's been a year since we visited Aaron's Acres. That was last
Time
summer.
flies when you're podcasting.
Yeah.
Everybody else around here does the mattress stuff. We just podcast.
That is true. This is true.
So anyway, are we ready to bring our guest on?
Yes, we are.
Take it away since you did all the arranging here.
That
You did it. You did it off camera.
I did it. Well, Shannon, come on. We got
Hi,
Shannon
guys.
You did it off camera.
Cleveland from
Never
YAS, or also Yaz Accounting in Lancaster. Shannon, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hope you're ready for what's about to happen.
The intro was very interesting, but I love the Office Space references. I was cracking up backstage. That was hilarious.
Well, good.
Do you have a similar story to Jeff's story of a failed office supply of some kind?
Not
Or equipment?
well. Actually, I had the same thing happen with my HP printer in the middle of tax season, where I went to switch my toner. I had bought this generic toner because I'm trying to be fiscally responsible,
Right.
and put it in, and it didn't work, and I had to run out in the middle of my day and get more toner, and it was not awesome at all. So
and
yes,
just
I
to
wanted to throw my printer out the window.
Yeah, and just to keep everybody out of hot water, these are just our opinions about
Right, exactly.
HP printers.
We need to start putting disclaimers at the bottom of the
Yeah,
screen.
so HP and your lawyers back off. So anyway, Shannon, welcome to the show. Happy you're
Thank
with us,
you.
and happy we didn't scare you
Yes.
off with our
Nope.
lunacy, I guess you could call it.
Senseless banter.
In the show opening. So anyway,
Shannon, I'm sorry.
no, you go ahead.
Our icebreaker question. Are you a
Yes.
Lancaster native?
I am a Lancaster native.
Okay.
My parents graduated from Hempfield, and I've lived here pretty much my entire life. I took a little break and moved to Texas for about 4.5 years, and then ended up back here in various locations, but pretty much born and raised here. So
That's cool. Yeah.
yeah.
We'll be talking all about some of the things you like to do in Lancaster. So you've got
Mhm.
a lot of experience here, so we'll get into some of that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what your unique journey is to starting your own accounting firm? I know you've got a unique story to tell.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how you got into accounting.
Sure. So, first off, my journey is unique. It's not unique to everybody. I think it's unique to some accountants, but it's really a journey of perseverance, is what I like to say. I started my accounting career, or my love of accounting, because I actually love accounting, which is a little weird. But I started really enjoying accounting in high school. I took an accounting class, and what made it a little unique for me in my accounting class is I was one of the only girls in my accounting class, very male-dominated field, but I was also very pregnant because I had gotten pregnant at 16. So my teacher was kind of old school back then, and he did not appreciate the fact that I got pregnant. And I was better than all of the boys in the class. I was kicking their butts in accounting. So how could that be? This girl, doing so well in accounting. And, actually he put it, no way they could say that this, in this day and age or whatever, but he was all like, he told me I got in a little trouble in the bedroom. And I was all like, wow, that's a little inappropriate, but okay. So anyway, so that all being said, like I had my son when I was 17, and I was a senior in high school, and immediately started, I wanted to go to college, like right out of high school. My mom and dad were really disappointed the fact that I was having a baby, because they did the same thing. My mom got pregnant in high school and she wanted me to be successful. And I was all like, it's just a baby. I mean, I can still go to college. What the heck? And so I did. But then I got pregnant again when I was 18 because I couldn't figure out what was causing that problem. So anyway, so I ended up having another baby. And I was a teen mom twice, pretty much. I continued to go to college like part-time up until I graduated when I was 29 years old. So it took me 12 years to get through college. That whole time I would go, and then I would stop going because I had 3 children by the time I was 22. Which is, I look at 22-year-olds now and I'm all like, what? They're babies. I was like responsible for 3 lives. How is that possible? But, I just did it. It's what you had to do. I took care of my kids. But I had started, accounting just came really easy to me. Although I wasn't passionate about it, I continued with accounting in college because it was easy, and I knew that I could make a living at it, and I needed to be able to support my family. So what I really wanted to do, though, was actually I have a passion for psychology and sociology. So I actually have more psych and sociology classes than most accountants. So I love the psychological side of people. And I kind of incorporate that into what I do in my business, not in a professional standpoint, but like getting to know my clients is very important to me, and getting to know who they are. So, because I think that once you know someone, it really can make a difference. So anyway, fast forward, I graduated from college when I was 29, but started working in nonprofit accounting when I was 23 at Masonic Village, which was Masonic Homes at the time. And really, when I was there was when I accelerated my college career. And I just wanted to give a brief hello and shout out to the CFO at Masonic Village. Her name is Pam Formica, and she was the assistant controller when I was there. And she really encouraged me to finish my degree and pursue my dream of being a CPA. And so I did it. It was hard, 3 kids and, working full time plus. And, I also thought I had to do everything, right? I had to be, I had to be, sit on a board somewhere. I had to help with my kids' sports programs. I needed to, volunteer in their classrooms. I needed to do all this stuff, right? Because that's what you're supposed to do. Not realizing that I was quickly burning myself out because I was like, I don't know what the expression is, you burn the candle at both ends or something like that. Yep. So, anyway, but that's just kind of my journey on how I got into accounting. And then from there, I went into, started out in private and nonprofit, and then I went into public accounting, and was hired by a firm that actually used to audit Masonic. And my auditor at the time, his name is Rodney, and he told me, he was all like, "Hey, when you graduate, you come work for us." And I was all like, "All right, I'm there." So I did, and spent 7 years in public accounting, and I only audited nonprofit organizations. So I became a nonprofit specialist from the audit perspective, and also just I dabbled in taxes as well. So I was kind of not doing just nonprofits, but I was doing like individual taxes, which I actually found really interesting, which is really kind of dorky and weird. And I get that, and that's okay. I'm all right being that person. But then, and then when I left, I went into private accounting again, but only nonprofits is where I ended up again. So that's kind of my journey there in a nutshell.
Very good. I mean, story of perseverance for sure. 12 years. There's people that have 3 and 4 careers in distinct journeys in that time. So way to stick with it. And obviously, I think you said it was Pam at Masonic Homes that was a great mentor and advocate and kind of pushed you in the right direction. So shout out to her. There we go.
Oh, see, she is. She's awesome.
This is why, Chris is like the great kazoo. He's just, he's on it back there, pushing the buttons, making the magic happen. So there you go, Pam. You saw something in Shannon, and here we are all these years later talking about it. So that's cool. Yeah. Very good. Very good. By the way, if you need anything for podcasting, our producer, Chris from Cast Ahead's pretty darn good. You just saw it happen. So, and if you're not watching it, you should, because we live stream this on video and we do it on audio, and you can watch it everywhere. But anyhow, back to the show.
Shannon, so yeah, unbelievable story of perseverance. Talk to us a little bit, if you could, about that the college experience, because we're talking about college during a time when there weren't the online classes like there are now, right? So were you attending classes? Were you like in person, or could you do it from afar? Or what did that 12-year journey kind of look like for you?
Well, so remote classes were few and far between. And so I did everything at night. So on campus. So I went to a variety of different colleges. So I started out at Hack, and I'm a big pusher of the community college. I know my husband also started at a community college, and he's now a CFO for a construction company, and he's doing amazing. And so we both started off at community college separately. We didn't know each other then. And then I moved on to the University of Texas when I moved to South Texas, and then again ended up back at Penn State Harrisburg. Everybody's all like, "Oh yeah, Penn State, like go Penn State." I went there because it was the closest to my house and I could afford it somewhat. But yeah, so I went to Penn State and I went to campus. And so I would work, I'd get up and I'd go to work at 7 a.m. I'd leave at 3 p.m, and I would then go to school. And I would come home, like make kids dinner, like do what I needed to do with my kids, and then was out the door by 5:30 because my classes started at 6. And so I went from 6 to 9. One summer I actually took 4 summer classes in a summer, and I was doing that 4 days a week while my kids were in varying forms of little league, either baseball or softball or something like that. So I was running ragged at that point, but I got it done and graduated with actually I graduated with a 3.86 GPA. So was pretty proud of that fact. Yeah. Considering I was like almost didn't graduate from high school. Right. So yeah. So it was difficult. It was difficult. Definitely not the regular college experience, right? So I have adult children. And all of them went the traditional path to college, which is great. I taught them at a very young age, like, don't do what your mama did, like do it the right way. And they have very different experiences. Like there was no, I wasn't going to games. I wasn't going to parties. I wasn't doing anything. I was just there to get my degree and get out. So that way I could start making, earning a living. So,
Yeah. So you've touched on a couple nonprofits and how they've, you do work for them. What's your connection there? Like, you worked at CAP previously.
Mhm.
What was your experience like there? And where do you, I mean, you help a lot of nonprofits now with the accounting side of things, but like, where does that drive and that connection come from for you?
So obviously when you're a teen parent, right? My family didn't have, my family wasn't wealthy. We didn't have resources or anything. And so I had to rely on nonprofit organizations to be successful. So CAP has always been near and dear to my heart because I used their services. Like, I had WIC. If I didn't have WIC, I don't know how my kids would have eaten. So, like, I wouldn't have had formula for my babies. And I did, like, even as a teen mom, like, I was in high school. I actually, not that this is this program, but I'm promoting like breastfeeding. I actually did that as a 17-year-old, and was WIC really supported me in that endeavor. And I had to use public assistance as well. So I was on food stamps, and all of my kids were born on medical assistance, and, just trying to get by, and using the programs, what they're intended for, not as a Band-Aid, but as a stepping stone to be successful. So CAP has you guys had, did you have Vanessa on?
Yeah.
Yes.
A few months
She's
ago.
awesome.
Yep.
I love her. And so being able to work at CAP after being a success story, like, I was a CAP recipient of services, and then to go in and in what I was doing was just, it was just so very special. It was a way I felt like I was giving back, but not really giving back. I was just part of that community, and I loved it. And I've always had a passion for nonprofit organizations because of that, because they're meeting people where they are, and that's what you need to do. And so for me, that's what I do, especially with my clients as well. Like, I meet them where they are. They don't need to, so many times accountants can be very dry and very introverted and don't like to talk and this and that. And like, I'll spend an hour chit chatting with my client about nothing accounting or tax related at all, just because I'm trying to get to know them, and being, putting myself out there to make them feel comfortable, because it's just, that's who I am anyway. So
Yeah. Well, you make a connection. You're making a connection through the show here with Mike. He's commenting about how he loves how transparent you're being right now, which really is like the whole part about being in business. It's about making a connection with people, and sure, you can help them, but it's how we connect human to human that matters. No, really cool aspect of how you're connected to CAP, and you use these programs, and it was that meet where you are, and you had that self-determination to use that opportunity and improve yourself and your station in life, and now look at you. Now you're yes, accounting.
I'm not doing it again.
He's not doing it. Yeah.
She can do it.
So CAP is Community Action Partnership, correct?
yes.
Do I have that right? Yeah. I'm terrible at memorizing things. I always have paper in front of me. But we've got caplank.org on the screen.
I love the WIC love. Of course,
Yeah.
Lindsay is a WIC employee.
Well, who's Lindsay?
My wife.
Okay. I mean, I know
Shannon and I talked about this.
I know
yes,
Mike
yeah.
well, but
We have listeners.
But you talked to Shannon, and Shannon talked to you, and
Right.
I know we're kind of a big deal, but we're not that big of a deal. And so, in case you don't know, Lindsay is Ben's wife. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Continue.
Yeah, dietitian at WIC, and
Yes.
I think they do a fantastic job. And she works with the breastfeeding coordinators there, and does all kinds of programming with
Superfood.
them. So
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
love the WIC.
It's funny. I would go back to the breastfeeding thing. Like, as a teenager having a baby, like, I really relied on my mom, right? I was all like, I didn't know what I was doing, right? And so my mom told me I had to. Like, that was she was all like, this is what you have to do. Like, it doesn't matter that you're a teenager. And I was like, I didn't know any better. I was just like, okay, well, this is what you do. They didn't have a pumping room in high school. Like, that just didn't exist.
Yeah. Speaking of teenagers, you know, moving into adulthood, I had my 19-year-old has a new girlfriend, I guess. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is.
Who knows what kids are these days?
But I just said, you know, that Mustang you're looking to get doesn't fit baby seats very well in the back. And I said, I'm still fairly young to be a grandfather, so don't make any mistakes. If you need to talk, if you need questions answered, I'm here. But just keep your eye on the prize of what you want out of life. And kids are great, but they are a major commitment in life.
Yeah, a little bit. And then when you think you're done, you're not done. You're like, wait, why are you back?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed my time at CAP. Like, it was wonderful.
And what was your role at CAP?
Yeah, so I started at CAP as the controller. I was hired by one of the best people I will ever have the privilege of knowing, Frank Gotti. He is now unfortunately deceased. But he hired me. He was the CFO, and he hired me as a controller as part of his transition plan. It was like a 5 to 7 year transition plan for somebody to know the ropes and to learn. CAP they're big. They are a big nonprofit, and they have a lot of programs that are all grant funded, and they're all different. And there's a lot of nuances, number one, with nonprofits, but there's also a lot of nuances when it comes to the different grants, because everybody wants something different. And so he brought me in to kind of learn that and to kind of give some leadership to the finance team there, who I absolutely love. And then unfortunately, Frank was diagnosed with ALS. After I was there for a couple of years, I became the interim CFO as he was transitioning out to battle his disease. And so I just kind of became the CFO a little bit quicker than I had anticipated. So I was the CFO there. When I had resigned from my position there, I was the CFO.
Yeah.
So from teenager, I guess in crisis we could say, right? Because being pregnant as a teenager, I think that's a fair definition. So from teenager in crisis to CFO. What time span was that? How many years?
So that would have been in 2017 or 18, and when I became the CFO, and then it was 93 when I had my son. So like 92, 93. So not very, not a huge amount of time, but especially since graduating from college. I graduated from college in 2005. So really in in 12, 13 years, I was able to reach the highest level of in the accounting, like if you were going to follow the accounting progression. So, which was always a goal of mine. Like, being the CFO was like from day one was like, I am going to be a CPA and I am going to be a CFO. Like, there was no question about like how I was going to get there. It was going to happen. And so I had like, yay, I reached my dream. Now what do I do?
Yeah.
So to switch gears a little bit, in preparing for this show, you shared with us a struggle that you had with mental illness. I know May was Mental Illness Awareness Month. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. So now we're going to get real, right?
If we haven't already.
Yeah, we all thought we were real. Now we're real.
With some mental health issues. Yes, I did. So I'm actually very, very open about this, because I think that there needs to. I'm so happy with how there's more awareness that has been brought about mental health, and so many people struggle, and so many people keep it a secret and hold it close. Well, so now that you know a little bit about my journey, right? That's a lot of stressors. I was in crisis a lot. But I just kept moving forward, and I kept going because that's what you did. And you just put one foot in front of the other, and you just made it happen. I learned that. My mom and dad were very much the same way. You know, when life got tough, you just worked harder, and you just kind of put yourself to the side. So back in 2018, my father was died. My father, who's young, who was only 60 at the time, was diagnosed with frontal temporal lobe dementia, which is a behavior-based dementia, and also semantic dementia. So he was losing his words and his ability to communicate. And he was living in South Texas, and we had to move him here to Pennsylvania. And me being who I am, and I have two brothers that are wonderful and awesome, and we, I'm kind of like the matriarch of the family. And so I was like, yes, Dad's coming to live with me, because my brothers had like little kids, and my kids were all grown. My kids were all like out of the house and in college, or out of college. And so we bring my dad up, and that was really hard. But I was also in I was married for 22 years, and it was not a good marriage. We'll just leave it at that. It was not good. It was not healthy at all. And so I had just been kind of like dealing with that, and how I was treated and everything else, and saw some of the same treatment towards my dad, who was my dad. And I'm dealing with like basically losing my father at such a young age. And why I'm in my 40s. Why am I taking care of my dad with dementia? Like what is going on? And then a high level stress job at CAP, even though I loved what I was doing, and then also dealing with just like everything else just started to like crumble. And I had a moment where there was something that had happened, something very big that had happened in my life. And I legitimately had a nervous breakdown. Like I felt my brain shatter. It's the only way I know how to say it. And I didn't know what to do. And so I knew I had this responsibility at CAP. I basically didn't know what to do. And this is where I have like the utmost respect and love for Vanessa, because Vanessa and I were peers at the time. Mm-hmm. She was not the CEO at CAP yet. And she was my first phone call when I was able to get myself together. I just got myself safe. I got myself into a safe environment because I knew I needed to do that. And then I called her and was like, I don't know what to do. And she just took the reins, and she literally helped save my life, which was awesome. I had very, very supportive family, like I always say, I'm the CFO of a very large company, and I literally moved into my mom's unfinished attic. So I was all like, what happened in my life? And I'm like laying here looking at insulation right now, but like, it's great. I had a roof over my head. So that was wonderful. Had to tell my dad with dementia that we were moving and to pack a bag, and he literally packed his entire bedroom. So, cause he didn't understand what was going on. But the one thing that he did, he knew that things were not well, and knew that we needed to go. So I did that, and had to make a difficult decision to address what was going on with me, and what had happened like throughout my life, and what was going on with me emotionally. And so I enrolled into an intensive day program at Fellhaven. This is another plug for Fellhaven, because when I first started there, I did not think I belonged there. Like, I'm a professional. Why am I here? What am I doing? Realized when I was sitting in my day, like in the, I treated it like school. Really, it was my job. I took a leave of absence from CAP, so I could focus on my own mental health. And they literally put me back together again. And there were other professionals sitting in there with me, and just realized that, like, I just got to address this, and I will come out the other side. Hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Having a baby at 17, cake. Piece of cake. Mm-hmm. Having another one at 19, piece of cake. putting yourself back together after a nervous breakdown and fixing yourself for good and identifying what happened, like what went wrong, is like so hard. But it can be done. So I always like to share my story because I want, you're not alone. And like one of the most important phrases to me is you are enough. And I had to that was my mantra, like you are enough, you are important, you are enough. And so getting myself, together again and realizing what was important to me. And because of going through that program and reevaluating what I needed to do for me and knowing that I would not be able to continue working on me with the level of responsibility for CAP because I loved CAP so much, I had to make the decision to, resign my position, which was one of the most difficult decisions I had to make. But I will tell you the CEO, Dan German, who was my boss at the time, when I went to him and said, hey, this is happening to me and I'm going to need to take some time off and do this. And I kept apologizing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And because I felt like someone in my position should not be dealing with this. Right. And he was so supportive and he was the best. And he told me, he's like, if you walked in here and you said, hey, Dan, like I just came from the cardiologist and like I have to have like a bypass surgery and I'm going to need to be off for like 2 months. Would you be apologizing to me? And I said, no, I wouldn't. He was all like, this is the same thing. It's just not your heart. It's your emotions. It's your, what's going on here and in the rest of your body. So you need to fix you and you have our support. So that was like, I was in good hands. Yeah, it was awesome. So, and the whole like senior leadership team and executive leadership team at CAP was wonderful. So, so I left there and I moved on to Luther Care. So, and I had an opportunity to work with a friend.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing to take away from what you shared, and thank you for sharing. I hope other people heard it. I hope other people, when we carve out these moments, can connect to it, because we got a lot of broken people in our world who are just kind of walking around going through one foot in front of another, and they need to hear these kinds of stories. So thank you for sharing, because it's meaningful. It's meaningful to those who need to hear it, and they'll hear it in the right time.
Right.
And so thank you. And so we're through all this, and now you take that time, you spend that time. You said you ended up at Luther Care, but at some point here came Yes Accounting.
Yes. So we'll get to that. So
So how did that start? And you've got a somewhat of a focus on the nonprofit community. I think anybody listening can start to see why that is. But let's dig into how you started, when you started, and the types of things you do and serve, or customers that you work with. And serve.
So I started, not Yaz, but I have been doing like tax returns for individuals for about 12, 13 years. Right. So I was doing it on the side. It was my side gig before, before side gigs were cool. And my side gig was accounting. So who does that? But anyway, so I had a ever expanding client base. So I was working full time and doing, like during tax season, I was doing taxes on just weekends. And so I had been establishing this business. And to be quite frank, when I had left and I got a divorce and started fixing me and everything, I met the most wonderful man, who is the love of my life, Mike Cleveland. Shout out.
Shout out to
Mike. Whoop, whoop. So I met Mike, and we hit it off, and he proposed, and I'm fast forwarding like a couple of years, and I had been talking about wanting to do this, and he was like, "You are the most amazing person I have ever met. If anybody can do this, you can do it, and you have my 100% support." We weren't even married yet, and he was like, and it was COVID, and everything, and so I was going to do it, and then I had an opportunity to follow the CFO from Luther Care over to UDS. So she had left Luther Care, and I had worked with, her name's Beth. I had worked with Beth back in public accounting, so I've known her since like 2005. And so she had me, come into UDS, and she's like, I know that this is just going to be temporary because, like, I know you have your own business and you want to expand it, but like, we need a little bit of help. Could you help us out? And I was like, sure. So I came in, and I'm good at reorganizing teams and making things run more efficiently. And so is Beth. So we kind of worked together, and within a year after I had started at UDS, we had kind of gotten to a position where we were able to like eliminate a proposed position that was supposed to be in the budget, and then also basically eliminate the controller position, which was what I was doing. And so I had presented a proposal to her about like, hey, I'm either going to go really, really part-time so I can expand my business, and she was like, or, let's support you in your business. And, we're going to outsource our controller services or our controller needs. And so that was kind of like a really nice step for me to kind of make that decision to kind of go out on my own. And so that's when I started to kind of like, okay, I've got to come up with a business name and, all these things. I think that is the hardest thing to come up with is, what do you want to call yourself? And so I just, I landed on your accounting solution because I like the initial YAS for yes, this is great. I actually have a sign in my office that says, yes, it's tax time, y'all. So
I think you're the only person that has that sign.
I'm pretty sure I am. Because nobody else loves it, right? So so anyway, I was able to kind of step out and do that. And UDS was my first large client, still a client, still here supporting them and loving it. And the senior leadership team here is just wonderful and super supportive, and started just expanding my individual tax client base. I went from when I went out I started my business officially February 2nd of 2022. So I've only been in business for myself for about a year and, 4 months, 4 months, a year and 4 months. Yeah, about a year and a half. And I went from about 80 tax clients to about 160.
Wow.
And that, all by myself. Like I do everything. Like I do the admin work and I do all of the work. So looking to expand that, but then also added on quite a few monthly engagement clients doing part-time controller, part-time CFO work, and even just some bookkeeping. Yeah, so
very good.
I love that UDS was like, no, you're not going to work here anymore. Go out on your own, and we're your first client.
Yes, it was just like it was really a soft landing. So I was really, really fortunate about that, and in fact. The chief operating officer, her name was Judy here at UDS. She happened to stop by my office today and said, how are things going? And I was telling her, I was like, I'm going to be on a podcast today. And she was like, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you.
Does this mean people have arrived if they do the Lancaster Connect podcast?
I feel like I've arrived.
Is that what we've done? See, that's my yes.
Yes.
I don't do that. You can do the snap. I'll do the fist pump. Yeah.
We need a motion for gardeners of some kind.
Right?
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Look how quick that was great.
Yeah. So you help out a lot of nonprofits with their needs financially, which is fantastic. You serve your for-profit businesses, which is fantastic. But you're still serving the community in other ways. You're on the board at Lancaster Public Library.
Yes.
And you all just had a big move.
We did.
Tell us about what you do
really
there.
Exciting. So, I sit on the board there. This will be my second year, and I started off on the finance committee because they, everybody's looking for people for the finance committee because that's boring stuff and nobody wants to do it, but I love it, so that's great. And with my nonprofit background, it was like a really good fit to serve the library in that capacity, and it was really exciting to kind of be a part of the board in the transition. But I will tell you, because I'm on the finance committee and the capital campaign and everything was underway, and everything was like, I was just kind of along for the ride. I didn't do any of the heavy lifting because all of that was in. I just, I like to, providing the library, the executive director and the staff with like support, but then also just making sure if there was like grants and stuff that was coming in, and using my skills in a way that to make sure that we were meeting the fiduciary responsibilities for the library, and also from a grant standpoint and that type of thing. But the library is like, the new space is absolutely amazing, and it was so needed, and it's so great for the community. The central location, and just, a library is essential. They offer, I learned when I started on the board, they're like all of the services, like I just thought, everybody thinks libraries books, right? It's not. They do so much more. There's there's a business center there that you can go get business services for free. And they have a librarian that is dedicated in some respect to helping people form a new business, or helping them in other respects related to their business. So that's one of the things that I really like about the library. And also I have grandkids now. So, being able to take them, to the library to, for story time and to check out books. And they both, I have two granddaughters, and they both absolutely love books. They just love reading all the time. So, but I joke, my kids joke with me sometimes. They're like, wait, you're on the library board? And there's this joke with my kids now that they're adults, and they can joke around with parents. They tell me all the time, because I was a busy young mom. They're like, Mom, you never read to us. Like, what is wrong? And I was all like, well, it turned out just fine.
Right.
So, they're like, and now you're on the library
So
board?
sorry for pursuing through all of it and getting that college
exactly.
degree. And, I'm so sorry.
I love my kids. They're great.
Yeah.
Are we seeing some of the kids and grandkids in the pictures behind you there?
Yes. Those are my kids are up at the top. I'm backwards here. Like these guys here. But they're from high schools, because I'm like a terrible mom like that I just don't. Actually, you know what? They should be giving me pictures.
That's right. Yeah, what were they doing for Mother's Day? Come on.
I know,
that
right?
HP printer's fault. Not
Right.
They can't print out their own pictures.
They couldn't even print. Yeah.
Yep. Shannon, this has been a lot of fun. Really appreciate your time as we look to wrap up. What's you got anything big and upcoming for the rest of this year and the next year?
So I would really like and hope to hire another CPA. Actually, I'm getting so busy that we're getting ready to take a 2-week vacation, and I'm freaking out because I have a lot of work to do. So, I'll be working on vacation, but that's all right, because, when you work for yourself,
when you get back.
That's
right. When you work for yourself, it's not really working. I really, truly love what I do. And I love, it's not really work to me, but no, I'm looking to expand with another CPA, and then eventually have, I imagine by the end of the year, because my workload is expanding to a point where I'll probably have maybe a staff accountant or an administrative professional or something like that to kind of help us out. So that's the plan for the rest of 2023, I think.
Congratulations. That's great.
Thank you.
Great success story.
Yeah.
Utilizing the services here in Lancaster, then giving back and being a steward of them. So just awesome to have you on the show and share all that. And thanks for your vulnerability.
Yeah.
Thank
you for the opportunity to share. I appreciate it.
We'll we carve up these moments and share them out later. And I'm sure at some point somebody's going to hear the right message at just the right time. So thank you for being a part of that catalyst. We appreciate that. But now it's time for everybody's favorite part, at least this guy's favorite part.
Connection cocktail.
He named it. It's his thing. He's like,
did I name it? I don't remember that.
Could we have a mojito?
Wait, do I get a cocktail? Because I didn't.
We're not that big of a deal yet.
So I would have been down for that. So.
That would be great if we could butler in a a
Right?
cocktail to our
Bottle
guest.
of
Like,
liquor.
I'll take a mojito, thank you.
Knock on the door, show up with
Let's have Buffalo Trace show up.
So, but before I get to the first question, I do want to give you a shout out. We're part of a referral group, and I know a number of people within the referral group use your services, and they have nothing but great things to say about you and your work and how you work with them. And I even referred a personal friend of our family to you, and you helped them through a tax challenge that they were going through. So thank you for that. And I know they were very happy with the work you did with them.
Thank you. They were wonderful. Yes.
Yep.
And that referral group is?
Referral Partners Plus.
There you
Yes.
I think
Picking
they're
up
up to
your
like
slack.
9 or 10 chapters now.
Yeah.
We're part of the
Mhm.
Manheim Townsend chapter.
We are.
Yep.
What is your favorite thing to do in Lancaster?
Favorite thing to do, right? Which would have to be, so I was thinking about these questions. I was like, my favorite thing to do would be, hands down, play golf. I love to play golf.
Oh,
I play golf
yeah.
all the time. My husband and I played yesterday out at, I can't remember the name of the golf course right now, but it was up in Denver.
Fox Chase.
It was Fox Chase. Yes, that's where
Yep.
we played. My husband shot the game of his life, just so you know. That's what I gave him for Father's Day. He shot the best game of his life.
Good for him.
So
But we love to play golf. I play a couple days a week. Me? No, I did awful, but that's okay.
Okay. Do you often beat him, or how does that go?
No.
You're not competitive? All right.
I've only been playing like 2 or 3 years. He's been playing
Okay.
like 20. So,
Well, that's
but
cool.
I'm getting there. We tied one time, which I was all like, yes, this is awesome.
That's progress.
So, I'm not competitive at all, so I don't know.
Gotcha. Speaking of golf, Lindsay got me a gift certificate to Enjoy Golf.
There you go.
Past Lancaster Connects guest, so I'm excited to use that.
Yep.
If you're not
That's
familiar
awesome.
with Enjoy Golf, INJOY, they're in the Burl Center, right? Or not Burl
No,
Center.
over by Candy Factory.
Yeah.
Oh,
Science Factory.
Yes.
Science Factory. Yes.
Too many factories.
But they're an
It's like
indoor,
an indoor golf, right?
virtual golf
Yeah.
facility. You can do lessons there, but I think you can play from like hundreds of courses around the country. So you're actually hitting a golf ball, you're hitting it into a screen, and you see how far it goes and how poor your shot is, and all
Right.
that. So I'm excited to use
Sometimes you just like when you're out on the regular course, you don't know, and sometimes that's good.
it. You're right.
I think you got to shoot it up this way and you
Right.
just let it rip.
Right. Swing as hard as possible.
That's
Yeah.
right. So after golf's done, is there a favorite restaurant you like to hit up?
Yes. So my husband and I love to go out to eat. It's one of our favorite things to do besides golf, and spend time with family, obviously. But we really love the Belvedere. So the Belvedere is my favorite. But if I wanted, like, that's not an everyday restaurant for us.
Sure.
But if I was going to go somewhere and we were just like, oh, it's a Tuesday night. Like, what do we want to eat? We're going to get some takeout or whatever. Frisco's Chicken all the way. That place is so good. If you have not tried Frisco's Chicken,
I have not.
And they have an amazing story. They have amazing backstory. And that's why I also love supporting them as well. But they have they have the best Peruvian chicken I've ever tasted. It's delicious.
I mean, I think they've got
And it's
like
reasonably
3 or 4
priced.
locations now. What's that?
Yeah. I said, and it's reasonably priced. So it's
Okay.
you're not breaking the bank to go there. So
Frisco's.
We'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
All right.
Bring them on the show. All right. So last question, and good answers for the first 2 so far. Big question here. You are bringing friends and family. Let's say you're bringing friends and family into Lancaster, and you want to impart some part of Lancaster County on them. Take them to do something, or share some of the Lancaster County values and whatnot. What are you going to do with them?
I would take them downtown because I love going downtown and have an evening. I start off at the Fulton. I love theater. So taking them to, and they do such wonderful productions there, like going there and then just like going out downtown. Like, doesn't matter where, like we always end up someplace different, and that's awesome. And I love it. So just exploring the downtown area and just walking around. That's totally what I do. Although all of my friends and family live here, so it's like very few that are coming in from out of town.
But if you would, would be what you
Right.
did.
Yep, absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
cool.
I think
Very
that we've
good.
got such a great downtown community that is so,
Oh.
it's so open and friendly, and it just so many like cute shops and great restaurants and just a great atmosphere. So
That's awesome.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, Shannon, this has been a lot of fun. Appreciate you
yes,
being on the show and with us. Thank you.
there you go.
It just loves that snap.
7 times I've done that, I
I
think.
like it. All right. Well, it's
All right.
Shannon, thank you so much. You go to yasaccounting.com to connect with Shannon for any accounting, bookkeeping, CPA needs. If you're looking to maybe outsource some of those controller duties, that's kind of the buzzword now, fractional CMO,
Fractional,
CFO, controller, all that good stuff. And so reach out to Shannon S. Cleveland at yasaccounting.com. We've had our phone number on the screen, 717-208-2176, or yasaccounting.com. Shannon, thank you. Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Shannon.
All right. If you'd like to be on the show, go to lancasterconnects.com/guest. That gets the ball rolling. Ben and I just spent our morning working on some calendar automation
Mm-hmm.
to make your guest experience even more fluid and better than it already is. I think we're pretty good. We cover the bases.
Yeah.
But we're going to really cover the bases from here on out. And so lancasterconnects.com/guest. If you've got a great business with a great story like Shannon, one of perseverance, a great story of a business of giving back. If you run a charity, are a charity, or have started a charity, we want to put some shine and spotlight on you. Go to lancasterconnects.com/guest, and we'll get you on the show. Do you have your testimonial?
I do have a testimonial. It's right here.
Oh, I know that one. I gave that one to you.
Yes, you did. It was on my desk this morning.
It was opposite. Normally you put it on my desk.
That's
I put
right.
it on your desk.
That's right. So, handwritten testimonial. We give these to our customers. We give them a blank sheet to our customers on delivery, and they actually fill it out.
Yeah,
They
you just ruined the whole thing. We fill it out, they sign off.
Yeah, right.
That's how we get them all.
It takes a lot of time coming up with these reviews. No, blank sheet of paper. They have to get out a pen or pencil, actually write something, fold it back up, put it in the envelope, put a stamp on it, mail it back. So David and Lori did this. Few questions we asked them. We asked them about their salesperson, their experience with salesperson Phil. In this case, Phil was extremely helpful and patient. What do you think of our process to assess your sleep needs and suggest the right mattress? Phil was very informative and especially concerned with understanding our needs and provided several options so we could make the best selection. That's what we strive to do here. Yep. And, would you refer others to gardeners is a question we always ask. And yes, it was actually much better than anticipated. So I guess that comes from mattress shopping not being very fun and glamorous, right?
It's not.
So much better than anticipated.
But we made it.
And have already recommended your store to close friends who are currently looking for a new bed. So thank you, David and Lori. Thank you to Phil, who worked well with them. And I think they're very happy.
Yep. That's good. That's what we strive to do. 2023, we still get those handwritten reviews back just about with as much frequency as we get the online ones. So I think that's kind of cool.
Yep.
Speaks to what we do here. And we always let our customers do the talking. So that's that. Sleep better tip. Pay attention to what you're eating and drinking. I commented to Ben this morning. I said, it was Father's Day at the campsite. Had a few Miller Lights in the fridge, and I drank a few of the said Miller Lights. And I shouldn't have. I should have just stuck to the brown liquor, the bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a little picture of all of us. And there's my sons, the beasts that they are. And so the younger one, who's in the red and white jacket, he's actually now officially bigger than me, taller at least.
Oh, man.
And
shed a tear, or was it pride?
I only
joy?
shed a tear when he beats on me. But anyway, to the point of watching what you eat and drink, I'm so stiff from drinking those Miller Lights. And I've noticed that a handful of times, and I just need to stick with it. And so a new mattress is great. A new mattress can really help a lot of things. But, if your diet is terrible, your sleep routine is terrible, your sleep hygiene is terrible, everything else around the act of sleeping is
Mhm,
terrible.
mhm.
A new mattress can only help so much. And so it is incumbent on you to develop those good routines. Mike, yes, I agree. Bourbon is tasty. Should be done in moderation, of course. But if you want to establish what some of those routines are, and you're like, what the heck is sleep hygiene even? Get our book, our Sleep Better book. I'm doing the bad pointing. It's right there. It hurt my wrist. We'll mail you one in the mail, and you get that by going to gardenersmattressandmore.com/sleep-better. Fill out the form. We'll mail you your own copy, and you can get started on some good habits around sleep.
I want to know. I saw Uno on the table at the campsite.
Yeah.
Who won the Uno game?
We started and stopped. We didn't finish, but we started with half the deck. I don't know why. Steph thought it was a brand new pack. The cards were updated. They weren't
Right.
like your grandma's Uno cards. They were like fancy Uno
Oh
cards.
gosh, yeah.
Once we figured it all out, we started having fun, and then my father-in-law showed up, and then we cooked, and the rest was history.
I got you. Yeah. The food took over
We
then.
played some cornhole thereafter,
There you go.
and that was good.
There you go. Well, beautiful
So, yeah.
day yesterday.
It was a good day. I hope everybody else enjoyed Father's Day. So that's the show. We've got our store remodeling in full swing. I think the guys have been out there working a little bit.
Yeah.
But the old awning is down. It's a naked building right now. So if you want to see what that's like, come on out. Get naked with gardeners. No, just kidding. I said it. Anyhow, don't get naked with us, but you can see the naked building. New fancy awning is going to go up by week's end. And we've got a lot of stuff that we'd like to sell. And therefore, we're going to have a little remodeling sale. So great discounts throughout the store. Get some free gifts with purchase. And we'd love to see it come out.
Yeah. Lots of beds to clear and close out. New
That's
models
right.
coming. All kinds of stuff going on.
Yep. So that's the show. We're a little bit over. I think we're.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh,
I always forget
it's been
prize.
a
We had
while.
some great comment participations this
Mike
time. Right?
passed. Both Mike and John passed guests.
That's right.
I like how Mike changed his profile picture halfway through.
I like it.
You could not see his mustache before
Now you can.
in that picture, and now you can see his
Yep.
mustache.
So, Mike, congratulations! You are our winner,
There he is.
and thank you. You know the routine. You brought out one of our past Prizelator winners. So come on out. You pick your drinkware or your on-the-go sleep bundle. Just let them know you won on today's show, the 19th, and we'll take care of you. I think that's it. Lancaster, it's been fun. Enjoy. I mean, I fish summers like here.
It is here.
Your past graduations and into school stuff. It's into the throes of summertime. So let's enjoy it. We got a good mix of sun, warmth, and rain, it seems, coming up. So that's good.
We need the rain.
That's right. And so summer's here. Let's enjoy it. We'll see you next week.
One more to 100. Oh, we will finally find out what Chris's surprise
There's
is
a
for
big
us.
surprise. We have a big surprise. It's like a major award. A
We
big
have no clue.
surprise.
You
We'll see.
guessed it last time, and I thought it was a good guess, but nope. Apparently,
Yeah.
unless he's trying to throw us off our game. I don't know.
Show 100 next week. See you next week on Lancaster Connects. Take care.